order of business is appropriation ordinance number 1206.
That's my notes. Here we are. There's your sheet up one of them. And this thing is pretty sensitive to snow. The 11,890 was BG Consultants, so that's part of the C-CLIP.
Yep.
After tonight's payment, there's 56,000 something left, and it was originally 124,000. And that's for 2 of those C-CLIP projects. So the 3,078 was for that golf course sewer repair and drainage issue. A couple of transformers from Solomon. The 3,900 towards the top, when the water department buys gravel, it's to fill in after leaks. Use it to fill it in.
All right, does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, just some of these small things, I know these are, it's a big amount of $7.94. JV Pearl sales, I mean, what is?
So that was a penalty for a late bill, or 2 late bills, whatever, something like that. There's a finance charge is how it came out.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve appropriation ordinance number 1206?
That's a move.
Second?
Second.
Who got it?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, proposed minutes.
I don't know that.
You were here.
Abstain.
They looked okay to me. I mean, Matthew's not here, so I'm gonna find the typos. He probably is. I'll hear that.
Good to me.
Stand approved.
Thank you.
All right. Agenda items. Do we need to add anything?
Adam Harp's here, is he?
Yeah, hold on. We got a couple. So we want to add, Adam, you want to be added, correct?
Yes.
All right, so Adam will go to L as in Lincoln. That will be Adam. And that has to do with the concession stand, correct, Adam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Alex, but he's dealing with it. No, I'm not showing up right now, so I might have to run it solo.
That's all right. All right, and then,
Experience St. Mary's Red, White, Blue event.
and then Mary for Experience St. Mary's. And then, like I said, I would like to, if it's okay, we're gonna move item F, golf course, to item A. Golf course.
Mr. Arkin, if it's possible, could I move towards the front, have a T-ball game to coach?
Yeah, that's fine, we can do you as B then, we'll move the golf course to A and Experience St. Mary's to B.
Thank you.
Okay, no corrections to that? All right, so let's start off with the golf course, which is, so joining us tonight is Rick Durant with Great Life Topeka. Rick came out, met with Bobby and Maurice and myself and Jamie on the 25th, I believe it was. Gave him a tour of the course and the clubhouse. And I don't know, Rick, if you want to come on up and just maybe tell everybody a little bit about who you are, Great Life. And
well, I don't want to bore you with all that, but appreciate being here, appreciate the invite. Would like to say I was kind of, we're not really, this isn't something we were pursued, we were asked to come give an opinion, I guess, so consulting possibly. And My wife and I started Great Life way back in the day. Of course, we still have a lot of our own locations, and we're part of a management group that, I won't bore you with it all, but I think there's 70 locations across the US now that we touch. But wife and I are kicking it back a little bit now, so almost have a little bit of interest in here. I think anybody involved understands this is probably not a home run kind of deal, but good for the community. I like seeing golf perpetuated, so appreciate the invite. We were here a few years ago. Things have changed quite a bit. I know Gerard's done a lot of homework on this, and maybe the rest of you guys too. Looking at possible different layouts and alternatives and ideas to reopen the golf course. My almost emphatic for anything with our involvement would be that it involves what is now called golf entertainment. Understand Commissioner Hall was just over at one of our facilities over the weekend. We think that is a really great way to engage the community, kids, high school teams, and even the better part, it makes it a little more economically viable. So in the version of what our group talked about and what I would say, recommend if there's an interest is you always got to start with the blocking and tackling, so the irrigation system has to be done up there. And then as far as grass and of course, I recommended everybody go to Wildcat Creek in Manhattan. It's basically all Bermuda, one height, one mower, one that, other than the greens. Place looks aesthetically pleasing. It's as low cost as you can get and still have a good product. So I would envision the whole course being that. And then, redoing the greens. And then the big part of what we would recommend or was looking at was coming just off the clubhouse, probably where one fairway went, and putting in one of these entertainment ranges where you'd operate that right out of the clubhouse. Obviously there would be a little bit of a financial investment but I think that would easily repay that. We've done, we just did a real similar project with a closed course in Clearwater, Florida. Great Life, kind of for lack of a better term, it's kind of a partnership. We come in and do all the bidding and legwork and everything and get a small management fee, and then if the place makes money, we make money too. It's kind of that arrangement. I can gift you guys a copy of that agreement if somebody would like to see it. We deal with lots of cities and counties. We do DeSoto, Gardner, Ottawa, so we're fairly versed in this arena. Anyway, I think, my opinion is, if we did it correctly and offered a really good product, that you could have, a viable operation there. From what I understand, the goals of the community would be, a local place for the high school teams to participate again, host events, with the top tracer, you could have all kinds of community involvement. It wouldn't just be old grumpy golfers like me. And something the community could be proud of, certainly. So anyway, I feel like we're in the exploratory phase of this right now, but we do have an interest, and if it makes sense to continue the conversation, we're happy to do so. Questions?
Yeah, I have one. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, sure.
So I was at the Top City on
Right.
Sunday. Would you see, if done right, would that involve any sort of mini golf construction, possibly?
It wasn't on my list, but it could.
Okay. Because there's a lot of families here and
Yeah, it's a great point.
families.
I think the key to this would be to get the community community involvement and participation and feedback and see what makes sense. That would be pretty easy to add on. In fact, we have a version of that, I don't know if you heard of the Pop Stroke thing, that I don't know, about 18 holes might be, I don't know, maybe, for sure, yeah. Be easy to add on, you know, the numbers for it.
Well, what do we need to do to get numbers for the irrigation, Bermuda, redo the greens? Do we work with you on that, or we have to?
Yeah, you know, I don't mind doing, you know, a certain amount of light work, but, if I got a commitment that, you know, it's definitely, you know, I'd say strongly, looks like something might happen, you know, over 50-50, I can get all that. You know, if you guys, you know, feel like something you can pull the trigger on, if not. And then, you know, if we could form, I'll call it that partnership again, I don't mind doing the legwork, because any number that I can save you guys money or make better, hopefully on our end of the deal, you know, it doesn't make sense for us to go send a ridiculous amount of money, because then we can't make any, so, you know, I'm sure you guys don't want that either.
All I was thinking is when you're talking about get community input, when you look at the total cost, that's part of getting community input. You know,
Yeah.
to get it refurbished and going. And that's what they're gonna need to, you know, make people aware of.
Yeah, and I don't know, pick on Gerard here or something, but I just seem to do that in conjunction with somebody from over here instead of me just doing it. So it's not just my plan.
Sure.
Right. No, I agree, and I've talked to a lot of people in the last, since we met.
Sure.
In May. I've talked to a lot of people, and the vast majority of them, I'd say probably 95%, you know, would be ecstatic to have a partner like Great Life. I mean, now granted, I talk to a lot of golfers. Those are the people that I talk to quite a bit, but a lot of them are members of Great Life already. They have played your Top Tracer, you know, used your Top Tracer there in Topeka. They love it, and the interest, the level of interest that I've seen from the people that I've spoken with is really good.
Maurice, the round numbers are pretty easy. That Top Tracer, and what I'm envisioning up there is probably a 10-bay facility. That's probably about $500,000. Irrigation system's probably gonna be about the same number. And then all, you know, just everything else to finish it off. So you're probably looking ballpark around $1.5 million.
And then the time frame, schedule, because that Bermuda grass is probably best done at a,
Yeah, and in a perfect world, if this came together rather quickly, you could get the irrigation system in and get the grain seeded by October, that would be incredible. Short of that, you know, same spring speeding, but yes, to hit the nail on the head, you're gonna have a window next year of, late May, early June, where that Bermuda's gonna need to go in.
okay.
But the great thing about Bermuda, that won't take long to fill in. I mean, you could probably be open by July 4th or so would be.
And is it public knowledge about the cost for those license fees on those bays per month, or is that a?
Yeah, we've got a priority, you know, if you call them up and ask them, it's about $250 a bay a month.
A month, okay.
We'll probably get, I mean, if you work through us, you get a better deal than that, but.
Okay. And you'd said, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You'd said that they're money makers for you, one facility 8 months or 9 months out of the year, but the wintertime so far hasn't been.
Yeah, I went ahead and brought some, one of these I printed on the wrong page, no, I didn't bring it back, good. This is a little bigger facility.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, you know, if we did maybe 6 outdoor bays and either 2 or 3 with a garage door, so you maybe could get some year-round use out of it. You know, if you're starting from scratch, it's a lot easier to,
Yeah, and those round numbers, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
That's enough. We don't need the,
okay.
that's good enough. Thank you.
Yeah, and, you know, I'd like to think we come in under that, but, you know, worst case scenario, I'd say 2 million, you know, depending on, you know, we had Putt and who else, you know, who knows what else by the time we get done.
Okay.
Rick, you mentioned you have relationships with other municipalities.
Yeah,
Can you briefly, how do those work? I mean, I don't want to get into the,
yeah, the kind of the most recent one and the one that would be the Clearwater, Florida one. And, under that scenario, you know, they're the owners, their course, they put in the money, we just come in and do, you know, kind of what we're talking about doing here. And we get a small management fee, and then if the place makes money, then we get paid on the end, so we're in the game. That's kind of deals that we're pretty much focused on at this point. And then, you know, on all the rest of them, they're just all different.
right,
But none of them involve top tracers or the new technology. We're trying to get a couple of them to do that.
but just in your opinion, I mean, I know you've been up there once, maybe, I don't know when the last time you was before that, but you think, I would hope that you're here because you think the potential is there, I mean,
Yeah, you know, pre-top tracer, it'd been a hard go. I mean, you might have been able to make it break even, maybe. If, you know, and that's if you did everything right and got a little lucky. But, the top tracer thing's really swinging the pendulum. I was sharing some numbers, I really don't mind sharing them. People may or may not be familiar with the Highway 24 thing. Ralph Lewis Toyota built that, put it in, and the famous quote was, somebody asked him why did he do it, and he said he had $2 million that he hated. Good kind of problem, I guess. But it got not very good by the time we got in there, and it wasn't even generating 200,000 a year. We did our stuff. We got it, I think within a year or two, we got it 330s, 350, 370, somewhere in there. It was, you know, so it was doing okay, but it's, you know, not a jump up and down deal. And then we put the top tracer in. You know, if we have a really good year this year, we'll probably touch $1 billion there.
and Top Tracer, it can also be used for the high school teams, correct?
Yeah, it's just an incredible, it's great family entertainment. That's the best part. No one goes out there and has a bad time, or, you know, maybe they do, but I haven't really seen it yet. But you can play 20 different golf courses if that's what you want to do. So there's simulators also, which is also a big thing. But the practice parameters in there are just, it's information overload now. You know, you just get a lot of technology and numbers. But if you take that and use it, especially like on a high school team, and you track it, and it, you know, it downloads to your phone and does all that, you know, the teams can get better, you know, versus just, the coaches can monitor it.
We'd have 5 teams, assuming Rossville would, they would, they have 2 teams at Rossville, we have 2 teams, St. Mary's High, and then the St. Mary's Academy has a boys team, so we would potentially have 5 teams. Do you think that could accommodate all 5 teams?
Oh, yeah, easy. Not even a sweat. You know, you'd still have a turf range too. You know, it wouldn't be just
Right.
the top tracer, the next would be turf. And, you know, we'd automate that where it's 24/7. You know, you just walk up and throw a credit card in there and get you some balls, so that could be any time. But the combination of the two, yeah,
And then the clubhouse, I mean, we talked about the clubhouse, you don't foresee, I mean, we're not talking about bringing it down to the ground and redoing it, right? You don't,
I just wouldn't see the point of it, no. I think it's functional as it is. My version of the top tracer's right outside that, you know, almost on the sidewalk heading out towards 1. And that would be the focus of everything going on there going forward. Might even rent the cars and do all that. You know, there's, you know, I was looking at those pictures, I thought that was interesting. You could almost have a little outdoor pro shop there, you know, really not, you know, just use the clubhouse for minimal instances, but,
Any other questions, guys?
And for the, if Clearwater's the closest example, is that because, so that Clearwater or the city or town or whatever it is, they own the course,
yeah,
and you're leasing, I'm guessing?
no, we're just partners with them.
Okay.
I'd say it's a management agreement, they own it, we operate it.
Okay.
We get a small management fee, and then if the place makes money, then we make money. But it's a double-decker top tracer there. First month it opened, it did $30K just in the first month, just on that. So that one's going okay.
Would you
But
like,
Tim, the manager down there, is a great guy. If any of you guys wanted to talk to him, be happy to put you in touch.
so if a partnership was forged, you know, we would be able to, would you, in that case, would you bring your people in to, you know, do the greenskeeping and, you know, your carts, or how does all that work?
And what about mowers?
Mowers.
Yeah, all that's just, you know, part of, you know, what's the rent and what's the fee.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
you know, it's all on the table. And I'm gonna wanna do as least as that as much, and I'm sure you're gonna want us to do it all, so.
that would be ideal.
So, at Clearwater, the employees are ours, as an example, but, you know, all the equipment's theirs, since that's just two we threw out there.
And when it comes to employee, I mean, would you, if you had to hire people, would that, I mean, obviously, you know, local people would be more than they could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm sure you guys are like us, if there's people ready to work, we're ready to put them to work.
yeah.
So I think looking at a sample agreement that, you know, see how it's structured
Yeah.
and have, then they can
And
decide.
it's not a 50-page document, it's pretty straightforward.
And I guess they would have to decide on what they want to do, then you'd have to say, does that work with you? And so we have ballpark numbers. See how an agreement would be structured, because 1.5 million is going to involve some sort of debt service.
Yeah, absolutely.
And before they.
And down there, I think it ended up being about 4.
Before. Well, so we'd have to look at the contract and the proposed debt service and the risks and all that. And
Yeah.
so I would like a copy of a proposed contract just to
Sure.
look at, and then
I'll email them to you.
the debt service.
Yeah, and as long as everybody's in agreement, we keep moving forward. I mean, we don't need a
No,
vote on anything.
if there's a consensus to have me get some information from him and then talk with the city attorney and potentially a bond agent, or I think his name's Cowan or Cohen for Gilmore and Bell, just for some basic advice on, because there's, the statutes are tricky. This couldn't be, it wouldn't work as a revenue bond. It's gonna be geo bond probably, but that's why I need to figure out what angle or roads or options
Right.
there are.
And I think you mentioned earlier, I went past it, but sorry. If we're involved, yes, then the Great Lake memberships would reciprocate and we would bring our horsepower in on that, yes.
Okay.
Maurice, is there, if we do have other cities like Crossville, for instance, that would be using it, would it be appropriate to see if they would actually help with this project? Is that,
I was referring to the high school only. I mean, and they would have to pay a fee.
Yeah, you could,
well,
you know, if you could agree to a fee
Maybe.
before you did it, that would be nice. But
It's, I don't know,
creative funding.
Yeah.
crowdfunding, but I appreciate the information.
All right, well, I sure appreciate it, Jim.
Awesome.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you coming out.
You bet.
That'd be great.
All right. Go to Experience St. Mary's. Committee.
I'll make this quick. There are some individuals in the community that are actually
renting a mini golf course for this event, and they're gonna be doing it as a fundraiser for the Potawatomi Wabunsee Infant Toddler Services, to raise money for that organization. But we have a lot of stuff booked for this event, and we're down at the park kind of mapping it out, and the only suitable location that we could really come up with it for it is Field 2, which was not one of the fields that we asked to reserve, so I just wanted to mention it, make sure it's okay that we use that field. It'll just be portable.
Mini golf?
Mini golf. Yeah, 9-hole, I think 9-hole, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is it inflatable?
no, it's like 2x4 something.
They kind of put them together. Snap
The
together.
company will deliver them.
They snap them together, or
They're all the same, but you just have different obstacles. And then they're like the size of this thing, but then you have it, yeah. With lights, so you can play at night too.
And we're planning on having it Saturday and Sunday, so a good thing about having it in Field 2 is we can lock the gates and leave it set up overnight, so we don't have to take it down and set it up or whatever overnight.
so she just need to go through the rec department to Alex to,
I don't know, it was like, I didn't know because we requested it with all of our other stuff for the event, so I didn't think it to be, and I didn't want to miss the last meeting.
I would think just get with Alex first, right? I'd go that route.
As long as, yeah.
Yeah, as long as he's, I don't know if they've got ball games. I don't think they do. I know they're using fields 3 and 1 for softball.
That's Friday night, and
Yeah.
then Saturday we have Field 1 for the helicopter, and so then we'd be using Field 2 Saturday and Sunday for mini golf.
Yeah, I would start with Alex, I think, see if that's,
And my other question, I did send an email with, pictures of the park, and I was wondering about gravel, I didn't hear back from anybody, and I'm just wondering if it's a possibility. I was down there again today, and there was gravel down there, but I don't think it's been redone in quite a while, cause it's pretty matted down at this point. There's a lot of dips. I think it's pretty muddy.
Kids love those.
where were the, I saw the pictures you sent, but where were those
It's-
specifically?
It's like Fifth Street when you drive into the park where all the cars park along the edges. So like, on the east side of the street where the pool was and the bandstand is, there's, gravel there in front of those big rocks. Where the gravel has gotten worn down and it gets pretty muddy. We have food vendors and stuff that's set up there. So last year it rained during the night before the event, and, you know, people were standing in mud to order their food. We
You
just
could
didn't have any
set
rest
up
for that.
a stand there and let kids play in there and charge them for that. That would be,
There's a couple other low spots too on the other side of the street that get pretty muddy, and then that, little street that wraps.
Yeah, there's a drainage issue in the park. There's no storm drains in the park. It's all surface drainage and
Capital improvement.
yeah, dumping gravel is not gonna help it because it has to go somewhere. It's just still gonna
So
be
if we put
there.
gravel there, the water's still gonna go.
Yeah, it's still gonna be there. We graded it out, about a month ago when we redid the bandstand in front of that whole stretch there. We got some of the water to drain off into the grass. It helped it, but it needs a storm drain. It's gonna need a study or an engineer or somebody to come up with something.
More than 10,000 for the park.
Yeah.
We're gonna need.
Oh, yeah, I know, that's annually, I mean, it's fine annually. Thank you, Genevieve. Okay, now we'll go on to resolution number 1123. Does anybody have any questions about the resolution? Or you still have anything?
where is it?
It's only in the packet, I didn't put a paper copy
Oh,
out.
I've got the only paper.
He has the one to
Okay,
sign,
yeah, I
if
saw
if
that.
it's signed.
Okay, I read through that.
Yeah, I didn't see any issue with it. Anybody else? No? Richard, you good?
I'm good.
All right, have a motion to approve resolution number 1123, CMB Liquor at Riverside Park.
So,
Have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Alright. Is our friend Brooke here?
I don't think she
She
is,
is not.
but her, the amount is in here,
Yeah.
the whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I would say skip over it and see if there's anybody here that is here and deal with them, and we can take care of that later.
Okay, we'll come back to that if we need to. And then Pat Cox, was he gonna be here?
No, he's not gonna be here. He called yesterday and let me know he has a personal issue.
Okay, so we're just gonna pass over that one as well then?
He's carried over.
Carried
'Cause He's
over.
for sure
Carried
going.
both of those over?
Well, property insurance, I think you can act on, because at the last meeting, we were gonna act on it, it just wasn't in front of you.
Right,
So let's just,
so unless, we'll put her at the, maybe put her at the end.
Yeah.
If she shows up.
but Pat Cox is definitely carried over because he will not be here.
Water report memo?
That was gonna be Pat Cox as well, but that's
Yeah.
also in the packet. So
Yeah,
in the packet is the updated memo that you had BG Consultants do, and there are 4 projects in there to consider.
yeah,
And they also go through, now they list 3 funding options, but I don't believe the city's gonna be eligible for the USD Rural Development one, because that goes off of the low to moderate income, and I don't think we're on that list. And the only way you can challenge that, if I remember correctly, is to do an income survey of people in town and come up with a certain number of responses. So the two, like, the most likely one would be the state revolving loan fund, the one in the middle.
okay,
And the general obligation bond is the one on the left. It's considerably higher because, you know, it's different, it's not being subsidized by the feds. So I guess what I would say is look at the options, and at the very bottom, there's proposed monthly water bills for 5,000 gallon users. And so whenever you go through a project like this, the state looks at your water rates and makes sure that you can, this would be very similar to what happened to the sewer plant 21 years ago, or 22 years ago probably. And that's why there, for a time, there's that $25 or $22.50, and then it's been lowered over the years a little bit, surcharge, so.
And Royce, this was the plan for like Main Street.
Well, so there's a map
Okay.
towards the end. I haven't posted anything on the website yet because it's still preliminary, and there will be
is that the map?
probably, there should be different, 4 different colored lines.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I thought that was interesting.
So what they did is they went through the water mains a few years ago and check it for pressure. So they know the diameter of the lines, and they know the overall pressure, and as these lines are corroding over the year, there's less water, and then the pressure's different, so they know to a decent extent how good or bad they are. But our fire department also does that every year, and they go and work the ones black or whatever that are not usable for fire protection and that sort of stuff. So this would definitely be one to carry over for Pat Cox
Yeah.
and maybe the person and see, because it would involve a series of meetings. It's just to
Oh, yeah.
get to the bottom of that.
Okay,
So I just say carry it over.
Yeah.
And it may not be on the next meeting agenda either, depending on Mr. Cox. And same thing with the sewer plant. I had,
Are we gonna hear from Mike at any point, or
well, if he gets numbers from
is that all he's waiting, he's just,
it's a difficult thing to do. And I was feeling bad about this for a while, but after talking to some of these engineers, it's what everyone's going through in the last couple of years. Is it's taking forever to get stuff. But also, the second meeting in August, I think I sent out an email maybe, is when Thaniel Monaco, the guy who did the sewer plant project, sewer plant proposal on what might need to do to, he'd like to be at that meeting.
Okay,
I don't have that, but that would be the second meeting, the 15th, I believe. So that'd be a potential work session. It doesn't have to be a work session, but as convoluted as that whole situation could be, it might be worth having an hour, just questions and answers on that. So I'd just say carry it over again, this one here, in
okay.
case.
Yep.
And we did have Pat Cox. I did ask him about that, what was that, grit separator? He said we need a grit separator right now, we need a grit separator 10 years from now, and that it won't be a bad investment if we do it now as opposed to wait. And then also, Mike did, he's not here, is he? He wanted to be here. We've been having more and more issues with that Lakeview subdivision's lift station. More repairs and that sort of stuff. And I told him that at the last meeting, you folks authorized Pat Cox to do the final design. And I think what we probably need to look at doing is, if you're gonna move forward on that project, when he gets the final design done, he can get a more accurate cost. If the cost seems like it's something you wanna do, we need to move on that independent of that sewer plant. It is a growing concern. We've had backups there over the years. It's just taking more and more time, and so that's all I have on that.
Okay,
Carried over.
parking update.
Sit down. What?
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna suggest there's another person here, should we let them go first? And we can-
Oh, Adam?
Adam up?
Was he waiting for? Oh, this is. Yep.
Oh,
Adam
oh,
Hawes.
and-
Alex has been here the whole time.
No, he didn't. Yeah, we'll move you up, Adam, why not? Get you out of here.
So there's a motion.
I would. You're lucky Richard was here.
Doing Alex's work here for him.
Good man.
So I was approached by a citizen last week and was really impressed with the park, really impressed with the community. He's new to the community. He moved here from Oregon like 2 years ago, but anyways, teaches, so he got a teaching job here, raising, a couple kids here, but was really impressed with the community, said, hey, I wanna help. So he decided to donate $4,000 to pay for the community to eat at several baseball games, or several nights a week. So we've done a total of 3 nights. Last night was mind-blowing, the amount of food that we went through. But anyways, he came down there for that, or a couple of those nights, got even more excited and said, hey, I wanna do a raffle now. So he brought down some sports memorabilia. He's got an Alex Gordon signed baseball, let's see here, Salvador Perez signed World Series ball, AJ Melendez signed jersey, Bobby Witt Jr. bat, and a Bo Jackson bat. And he's just like, I'm gonna donate all this stuff, see if we can raise some money. And I'm like, all right, cool. I don't wanna do a bunch more free nights, He's just like, what do we invest in? And I was like, that's a great question. So I feel like, we kicked around a couple different things. I think the thing that probably makes the most sense would be like maybe reinvest it inside the concession stand, since he's already kind of taken an interest in that. Overall though, the building's in it's in good shape. There's a couple things like, the vanity, not the vanity, but the sink base, where the hand washing station, that's kind of wonky. One thing that would be huge, just kind of doing what we do on a night. So my night is basically I go down, prep some stuff, go up to the house, grab warm pretzels, put it in a warmer. If we could have an oven down there, that'd be huge. So I guess what I'm asking is so if we raise some money on this, is there certain things you guys want taken care of on that have been talked about at the concession stand, or that you'd want us to address first that we don't know about, or?
Well, my concern, before we go anywhere on
Yeah.
how you're gonna spend money, how do we account for this money? Do we have to account for this money?
Well, so if they're raffling it off on their own, so there's community foundation funds that people can use you know, they can get an account with, and like Wamigo, and the money could go there.
Okay.
And it could be, it depends on how you want it. I mean, if they're raising it privately, because we're not in the raffle business, and I don't know the rules to it.
Right.
So if you're gonna come up with some cash, it'd be, you know, there could probably be a local organization, nonprofit, that could, you know, let you use their account, and then any projects that you want to put together, work with Bob and whoever, and then bring them here.
Right.
Yeah, because
But my question,
we don't have to account for the money, no.
not even the $4,000 that was given.
It's given to him,
Okay.
not to the
Yeah.
city.
And we're essentially taking that money and spending it at Sam's.
Yeah. So I'm saying the city's not involved in any of this except approving improvements that are gonna be made through donations. I don't think
Okay.
we'd do anything like that, but, and you don't have to go through a community foundation. I just say that
Right,
if they could track it, the money, if there's ever questions, it's,
right.
you know, as opposed to just some, you know.
I guess my thing with the first part, it seemed pretty easy. It was the second part where, you know, I mean, I have a feeling that this gentleman is gonna wanna get more and more involved in the community. And I wanna have a direction, you know, for, I guess for him and myself, obviously, you know, that's where all the action is down at the park. So to me, if there's anything, that's what I'm kinda seeing, this concession stand, is just kinda rolling that back into that.
Well,
Just-
we're talking play system, we're talking, the fields themselves could, you know, maybe need some,
The big one that I've talked about, I think the thing that would probably help the most, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a building.
Yeah.
But just basically something on the backside of the park. It could be a concession trailer. We tried that one night, but it was a bad night, and honestly, it's just been so busy since. But a concession trailer on the backside of the park would be huge for, you know, people not wanting, families,
Yeah.
typically families not wanting to travel from field 3 and field 5. It's just like by the time you leave and you come back, you miss your son or your daughter back twice. So just a long walk.
Yeah,
So-
I agree.
so in recent years, you know, I have a different,
Oh, no, I mean, it wasn't in regards to the donation, I was just gonna say what happened with the trailers, why did that work?
So we tried it the first night, and I guess I can ask now. We had an issue with, I rented, and this would have been Memorial Day. I brought the trailer down, the concession trailer, parked it there next to the building, and just to the south of the T-ball field. I rented one of the spots, put the key in there, and it was kind of like a flimsy chintzy key, and beep.
Oh.
So I snapped it off from there, so we had no power. And it's kind of hard to run a crock pot, you know, with no power. Starting a fire inside the old concession trailer. But if I do have access, if I had access to like plug in, that would be huge. So like either that building or a building on the, let's see, I guess that would be southeast of Ball Diamond number 3, or just basically south of Ball Diamond number 3. If there's access to power over there where I could just plug in, but I get it, you know, if you get an LED light in the crock pot, you can have hot dogs and, you know, whatever. Then you just run your, you know, chest cooler for soda and water and Gatorade, so. But, yeah, if I had access to that, that'd be huge. Cause it's kind of a pain cause I guess the procedure to get power at the RV spots is, so you come down, it's $10 a night, which is nothing. But it's at $25 fee, then you have to bring the key back, because obviously people are wanting to rent those spots. So, that, honestly, taking up 2 spots with a truck and a trailer anyways, so it's kind of low key. So, but that's what I've heard. But the stand has been, it's in really good shape. Holds the cold, when the AC's working, holds it pretty well, because it's limestone building, so. But other than that, yeah, I guess I'll talk to him again, and we'll get kind of a,
When do you plan on doing the raffle?
July 1st. July 1st, yeah.
So
Well, I
you
guess it's the question of just waiting to see what type of funds come in for that,
Correct.
just to see where to allocate there or how to.
Right, and I'd like to further that conversation with him. I mean, if this is gonna be a prolonged effort on his part, I'd like to kind of see what other things we could do.
Is this a rec board question? a certain level, like what are they, I mean, you asked for a plan for the park.
It can be if you're talking new improvements, if you're talking about fixing up a concession stand and adding power here or there, we can handle that, but if it's a bigger thing, yes.
Okay.
And what I was gonna say is that the Chamber of Commerce had been raising money to refurbish the armory the last number of years.
Right.
And John Mitchell would be doing it, and they would propose something, they would talk with Bob and occasionally commission, and
Okay.
they would do it, and we never handled any of that money. And, you know, they raised it and they put it to good use, so there is precedent for it.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'll just get with him and any major improvements, obviously run through you guys rather than that, yeah.
Yeah, I wanna buy a couple of records. I
Yeah.
want that Bo Jackson back.
That Bo Jackson bag is gonna be, that's gonna be mine.
Oh, I wonder how you would win it, right?
Oh, I don't know.
It's rigged.
Ticket
Thanks,
number
There
one.
might be some color coding going on there.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, now we're going to parking update.
Sid had put something, is that you?
No.
Yeah,
Okay. He had sent something out in an email. He basically
Yeah.
didn't think it was feasible,
yeah.
so we carried over, get him here sometime, or do what you wish.
Carry it over, or are we done with it?
I have nothing to add. He sent you an email,
Yeah.
and if you have any questions about the email, we can get him here. If not, it's done.
Yeah, I think it's done. All right, do we, yeah, we don't need that. Motion.
No action taken.
No action taken. Ordinance number 1340.
Okay.
Temporarily suspend city code.
So my draft, the city attorney liked, but he said it's one of these things he wants to take a little more time and,
Yeah.
and look into, so it's not in front of us tonight.
Okay, as well as the flag and banner policy.
Well, yeah, so he really didn't like my draft on that one. He thinks the existing one can be tweaked in a little way and that he'll do that, but it's not in front of me, so yes, carried over.
Well, my question, and on the existing one, could some kind of wording be put in there that basically if you don't have a presence here in the city already,
Yeah, maybe.
And-
I had that in my draft, but I also had the city of Los Angeles and all that stuff. It can't. So I would what I suggest is just wait for his draft and then critique the draft and
okay,
that sort of stuff. I just don't have it in front of you. Sorry.
okay. All right, item J is the Potawatomi Wabungie Regional Library St. Mary's Advisory Committee.
So they had brought this packet of papers over. It's in front of you tonight. It came with a cover letter, which I had emailed out to you individually there. And then the rest of the stuff looks to be information about the library and that sort of stuff. So I didn't scan it in, but I think the gist of it is this first page letter here.
And then Matthew also,
So he had drafted a letter
right,
and he referred to the draft and he would like you to consider it as a response, if you want to do a response. And he said he had a couple names in there and that you're willing to take those names out. I only spoke to him briefly about it.
do we want to just carry this draft over to when he is here?
I see that to be the cleanest thing to do.
Let him defend his thesis, so to speak.
Well, let's make sure there's nothing done that needs to be undone or,
Okay, yeah. Anybody have any questions on what we received?
so you receive this from the library and then there was a letter sent from a,
And I will say, from what I read their letters and stuff, and it looks like it's good. I mean, to me, it's good, positive movement in the right direction. I think if we can come to where we can get people together that, come up with ideas and we don't have to, I think it's a good thing. So I like what they're doing. I like some of the things they're proposing.
okay, carried over.
Yep. And then, go on to Armory Rental Fundraiser.
So this would be one of those situations where they want to waive rule 1 and 2 on the alcohol application for the armory.
Yep.
Yeah, you go ahead, I'm just giving a
Come
little,
on up.
Okay.
just giving a little notice there. It's a very common request.
Yes, so, I'm requesting to,
I'm sorry,
I'm Jerry Lou Marcel.
Yep.
So, I'm requesting to do a fundraiser with, that will be serving alcohol or applying for the license to, serve alcohol, of course, to, 21 and older. We are gonna have a band and a dinner, and, this is for a, 28-year-old mother with brain cancer, and mother of 2, and she's needing financial help. So her mother's asked if I would head up a fundraiser at the Armory on July 29th.
So you want us to waive the
Rules,
alcohol rules?
rules 1 and 2 on the, which allows it to be advertised
Right,
and open to the public to sell.
right.
And they're gonna have a temporary permit from the state.
And the fee as well?
That's another story. I mean, if you're
You
asking,
want the fee, the rental fee waived? Why not?
I,
Well,
sure.
No, I,
Sure, I didn't, so, yeah, we put the deposit down, but yes,
no,
so,
I think, if we do this, I'd like to, we'll get rid of that too.
alright, thank you, Mr. Plansky.
So, what do you need a,
motion to waive rule 1 and 2 and not charge, even when they have sometimes waived those fees, they still make people put down deposits for damages. But, so make a motion to waive rule 1 and 2 on the alcohol application at the Armory, and the rental fee for that day is also waived.
so we need a motion to waive rules 1 and 2, and to waive the rental fee.
That's the move.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing that. All right, any reports?
Not a report, but a reminder that, so the next time you're getting together is next Tuesday. That's a non-meeting, regular meeting night. That's the 27th.
You'll
There's a
remind
work
us.
session at 6 o'clock. I'll send a packet out. May do a paper packet, put out a paper copy of the budget, and then post a draft on the website. The drafts can be misleading because numbers are up to, anyway. And then, so the next regular meeting after that was supposed to be on Tuesday the 4th, but it's been moved to the 5th. So, work session on the 27th, work session on the 5th, and then followed by a regular meeting. The work session on the 5th is with the auditor, and what he's gonna do is do municipal finance, but use our proposed budget and go through the rules and the laws and that sort of stuff.
Do we need to go, I'm sorry, do we need to go back to the property insurance?
If we do, if we're gonna approve it,
Let's go back.
I appreciate that.
I apologize, let's go back to the property insurance. I don't think Brooke is probably.
We need to get it
tired.
paid. It's getting to a point.
Yeah, she's probably tired of coming out anyway, so.
Um,
So all it looks like all the changes are in there, right?
yeah. Well, and she looked in.
I wasn't here at the last one, but did she end up doing an audit of all the buildings?
Mhm.
Yep.
And so, and even looked into the hail insurance situation. It was live streamed. It's still up there. You're not going to revisit it. But so she was there, and at the meeting, last meeting, they basically approved it. But I said, let's just get it in front of you again. And I was expecting a written page of those changes that she mentioned at the meeting. I didn't get it. I didn't follow up with it either because I figured you were here, you weren't, but the rest of you heard it. It seemed satisfied. So the motion would be to approve the Charleston and Wilson insurance proposal, I believe 119,939.
There it is, yeah. All right, do we have any discussion on this, or any other further discussion on the insurance proposal? Do I have a motion to approve the Charleston Wilson proposal for $119,939?
Right, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So just a reminder, work session on 27th, we'll send out probably a paper copy of the budget and a digital one. I don't want you to think about that.
And that's, who again, sorry?
So it's just us, so that's just
No,
utility.
Is it, it's utility?
Yeah, and
So
I,
that's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock next Tuesday, and then we're gonna try to invite, well, we're not gonna try, we're gonna invite the engineers with Electricom. So a few years ago, we had an engineering report done on our distribution system on how to improve it. That engineer has grown, doesn't wanna bother with a small city like this. He did give us a proposal, we looked at it, we wanted them to update the costs, and then if they're available. The big project, so the $250,000 transformer hookup that we looked at last year is now $270,000. So it went up $20,000.
Really, already?
Well, it's been a while. But yeah, so that's all I have for reports.
Anyone have anything else? Take a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn.
A second.
A motion and a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.